I decided to do my makeup this morning for work, which is a rare occasion, and I thought since it's happening, I might as well show y'all how I did it. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm applying a moisturizer, and I use Olay Complete All Day Moisturizer. I just rub that all over. And then I get my MAC paint pot in Painterly, and it's Pro Longwear, and I just rub it all over my eyelids. And I make sure I go all the way up to my brow in the corner, down the crease, and then I'll do my other eye. Next, I get my Naked palette, and which I absolutely adore, and I go in with the shade Combust, and I'm just going to put that all over my lid back and forth in, it's like a hill motion or a windshield wiper, and I do little circles on the inside and then on the outside corners, but I'm just going to go back and forth over and over, and I'll use that as a transition color. I think I decide to use, yes, I decide to use, well, I don't know. The color's worn off. It's a really tan, natural, almost coffee color, and it's just a little bit darker than Combust, and I do the same motion. This time, I'm going to try to stay a little bit lower on my lid than I did the first time. And then I go in with some real stuff, some real color. I go back to my Naked palette. Yeah, I use Whiskey, and I'm going to start at the outer crease and go in a little bit. It's almost like a sideways V or a less than sign. And so you just keep doing that over and over until it's as dark as you want it. And then I do it on the other eye. And make silly faces the entire time. I always end up going back in this, and you'll see later in the video that I do go back and I make it just a little bit darker. It's always better to be safe than sorry in my book. Then I'm going to grab this flat brush over. That's dirty. This flat brush, and then I get a glittery shade. At this point, I knew I was going to use glitter, so I sprayed it with my Fix Plus. And then I had a hard time figuring out which color I was going to use, and I didn't show y'all. I actually went in with Snakebite right there. And I just do Snakebite. I didn't really blend in that dark color on the outer corner of my eye, because I knew I was going to go in with glitter, and I kind of use this time to blend it in. If you're ever using a glitter eyeshadow, you want to make sure that you do patting motions and not swiping it back and forth. I see that with this awful quality, it almost looks like I'm swiping back and forth, but I'm actually doing a ton of tiny little dabs to make sure that it's even. And I was obviously pretty proud of myself about the way that that blended out. Going back with my Naked 2 palette, and I use Booty Call, which is the most fun name to say ever. It's just a really good highlight. I love that it has a little bit of shimmer, but not too much. It's light, but it's not like overwhelmingly stark white. It's just light enough to make it a gradient across my eye from dark to light. And then I go back, and this is where I told you I went back in with the darker color, that Whiskey color, because I decided I wanted a little bit more transition from dark to light. I think it looked a little too natural, and you know I don't do natural well. Oh, this is the point where I lost my eyebrow spoolie. And earlier when I was filming, it dropped on the floor, but like I just thought it was a random brush that didn't matter. And so in this entire segment that I spend just looking for the brush, note it's like 2 feet away from me on the ground, and I was just too lazy to pick it up earlier. So I spent this entire video not ever brushing my brows. So we're just going to try to make do without it. This pencil that I use for my eyebrows, I've used this since I was in like 7th grade, and haven't ran out of this pencil ever. And so it is, I honestly can't even read it. It's completely faded away. It's a CoverGirl Eye Makers, but I can't read the shade or anything. I think it says soft brown. Next, I go in with my Kat Von D foundation. I was thanking it for actually being available because I tried at first to go in with my Studio Fix Fluid by MAC SPF 15 and the color NC30. And it wouldn't come out, so I guess I'm completely out of that. So instead, I went in with Kat Von D's Lock It Tattoo Foundation in the shade Light. And I'm just going to dab that all over my face with a beauty blender. And then you just rub it in. Again, I do small dabbing motions. Make sure you stroke downward when you're applying your foundation. Then I'm going to go into the eyeliner, and I use the Ink Liner Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner in the shade Trooper by Kat Von D, and this just makes it so easy for me. I used to really struggle with applying liquid liner in a decent amount of time without looking crazy. And this just makes it so easy. I love how smooth it goes on, how long lasting it is. It doesn't transfer onto my eyelid at all throughout the entire day. Then I'm going in with my Better Than Sex eyelashes. I considered putting on falsies for y'all, but I'm just too lazy. It's just not going to happen. So I use Better Than Sex on the top, and then I'll go in on my bottom lashes with MAC Extended Play Lash. Next, I'm going to go in with my Master Conceal by Face Studio. This is just from the drugstore, and it is a fabulous concealer. I feel like it doesn't transfer. It doesn't mess anything up. So I put that down from the inner corner of my eye, down parallel with the bottom of my nose, and then outward in motions towards my temple. I put a little bit extra on my chin and on my nose and the center of my forehead to really make sure that it's all even and it's balanced, and you just don't just have highlight on the top. And apparently I thought I needed some more on my forehead. And then I'm just going to rub that in. I'm going to use my Beauty Blender to really make sure that it goes on evenly. Also, just fun fact, you're always going to make sure you use your ring finger when touching your face, especially around the eye area, because it's the I guess it's the weakest finger. I don't know. It's the softest. I've heard it everywhere, and now it just doesn't pull. It doesn't tug on that skin too hard, so that it doesn't speed up the process of aging. And so I'm just going to make sure that that's all blended in really well. And then almost immediately I go in and set it. I'm setting it with a light powder brush, and you want to do that all the way up to your lower lash line. Make sure that you don't have a gap, because it might make your eyes look smaller and beady, and that is not what we are going for. Next, I'm going to put a little bit more of that Master Conceal on a small precision brush, and I'm just going to go right under my eyebrows. This is just to clean it up, basically, because I need to go get my eyebrows threaded, and I haven't yet. And this is kind of a cheater's way to get by for a couple more days. I'm going to go back with that Whiskey shade from the Naked palette, and I'm just going to do it tight on my waterline, and I do that from under my winged eyeliner to about mid-eye. I go right until the black part of my pupil. Don't go in any further because I don't want to make my eyes look closed off. I just keep that on the outer side. It also helps if your wing isn't perfect on your eyeliner. Now's your chance to redeem yourself and just kind of smudge it out from there and make it look like you did it on purpose. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to go in with Extended Play Lash on my lower eyelashes. The reason I don't do this when I do my whenever I do my upper lashes, my hand usually rests on my face, and so I want to do it as early in the foundation process as possible so I can go back and fix it. And I do my lower lashes after I've applied my concealer, so that my concealer can be set all the way up to my lash line without interfering with the mascara. This is an eyeshadow, but when I saw it, I was like, okay, bronzer, like I have to. I'm going to go in with a fan brush and just contour my face right under my cheekbones. Make sure you don't come too close to your mouth. It'll make it look dirty. And then I use a blush brush and go up the sides of my face with that same bronzer and towards my temples, and then not to the center of my forehead. Make sure your highlight is still at the center of your forehead. Just bronze on your hairline up towards that. Now I'm using MAC's Petal Power. MAC Petal Power, not Max. Who's Max? He doesn't make blush. And I'm just going to apply that right above my contour. Then I'm going to go back in with the flat small brush and use MAC Nylon Shadow. I'm going to apply that on the eyebrow bone and then the inside corners of my eye. This is just to brighten my eyes, make them look bigger, and to make, again, my eyebrows look more prominent. Now I'm using Clinique's Quick Liner for Lips Intense pencil in the shade Intense Licorice, that's shade 12. And I make sure that I line them. I was actually planning on doing a more nude lip, but I just kind of got carried away and decided to fill in my entire lip with this color. And I actually like the way that it ended up because my eyes were more natural today. I was able to go in with a super dramatic lip color. So I just fill in my entire lip with this pencil. It's really hard to line my entire lip with a liner, so I just got Kat Von D's lipstick in the shade Vampira, and it's the exact same color. I'm just going to go over that. The reason that I line my lips all the way under before applying the lipstick instead of just applying the lipstick is that whenever the lipstick starts to fade, the liner is really going to have my back later on today. I also like for my face to look really matte. I'm naturally pretty oily, and so any of my problem areas, I make sure that I go over with a thick powder, and that's just how I set it. And you'll see the areas that I do it. I don't go over my contour, I don't go over my blush, and I stay away from my eye area. I just do the T-zone and other areas that start to look kind of funky during the day. So now that I'm done, I fix my hair and I go to work. I hope you all enjoyed.